Tonight on Ethan Blake versus the Madness, we face off against another week of bold hypocrisy, loud stupidity, and quiet cowardice. Spoiler, stupidity wins again, but not for long, because I'm here to do what the mainstream won't. Laugh, mock, and expose it all. Whether it's politics, pop culture, or a TikToker with more followers than common sense, I've got the verbal sledgehammer ready, and yes, it's personal. So, if you're ready to laugh until the pain goes away, or at least get angry with flair, let's roll.
I don't know that you have the mental acuity to be operating a motor vehicle. But if you do think that, I should also probably explain to you that trucks also don't actually have testicles.
I think we make a mistake focusing this all on Donald Trump as though he's, Magneto and some incredible supervillain that has changed the very nature and temperature of the United States. Like, he's just been an effective vessel. But again, he's not singing new songs. I think it's a mistake to focus it all on this one individual.
It looks like Jon Stewart is quickly following in Bill Maher's footsteps, heading straight for the exit of the woke echo chamber. The comedian just scorched CNN once again, slamming them for their shameless rumor mongering, and believe it or not, he even defended Trump. Yes, you heard that right. As left-wing icons continue to distance themselves faster than CNN's plummeting ratings, it feels like the collapse of the Democratic Party is just around the corner. It's unraveling like a house of cards. As always, I've got every fiery moment ready for you, so stay locked in, because you won't want to miss a single second of this epic takedown.
Shouldn't the discussions also be about Trump's fitness to serve?
Every time he opened his mouth, he said something insane or that was a lie.
Why aren't there calls for Trump to drop out? Where are they?
Before unleashing his brutal tirade on CNN, Jon Stewart set the stage by calling out the network's blatant anti-Trump bias. He highlighted how CNN journalists constantly accuse Trump of lying, all while twisting facts to push their own narrative. But the most infuriating moment? When they questioned Trump's fitness to run for office, while completely ignoring the obvious truth that Joe Biden struggles to finish a sentence, let alone lead the nation. Stewart didn't hold back, and his hilarious yet scathing takedown of the media's double standards is something you absolutely need to hear. This is pure comedy gold, and a rare moment of truth cutting through the noise. Listen for yourself.
Yeah! Why doesn't anyone ever speak out about Donald Trump? Or, let's say, every night for 10 years.
Jon Stewart hilariously trolled MSNBC and CNN for their obsessive, almost stalker-like fixation on Donald Trump. For the past decade, these networks have tracked his every move, from his tweets to the color of his tie, desperately hoping to uncover some impeachable offense. Nothing was too small or too petty. Yet, despite their non-stop efforts to portray him in the worst possible light, Trump continues to come out unscathed, and in many cases, even stronger. Stewart mocked the media's addiction to Trump-related drama, pointing out just how absurd their tunnel vision has become, while real-world issues are ignored and crises escalate around them. His takedown was both hilarious and brutally accurate.
News channels show images from Ukraine, from Gaza, from natural disasters. They get through them dispassionately. I can't imagine how devastating this footage must be.
Jon then launched into a scathing takedown of MSNBC, calling them out as a pack of blatant hypocrites. He ripped into the network for its selective journalism, accusing them of cherry-picking stories and individuals based solely on political convenience. If something didn't align with their narrative, it was either ignored completely or twisted beyond recognition. Stewart mocked how MSNBC consistently turns a blind eye to Democratic failures while blowing even the tiniest conservative controversy out of proportion. One perfect example? Their desperate attempt to defend Biden's disastrous performance in the 2024 presidential debate. Stewart exposed the network's bias with sharp wit and brutal honesty, and it's a moment that truly cuts through the media noise.
a stutter.
He hasn't debated in 4 years.
He was almost over-prepared.
He had an off night. People have an off night.
You know, the president traveled 6 time zones forward to G7, and he was also continued to do his presidential duties.
I actually heard some journalists try to excuse Biden's disastrous debate performance by claiming he just had a cold, as if the common cold now magically causes cognitive breakdowns. Give me a break. Now imagine if Trump had stumbled like that. MSNBC, CNN, and the entire left-wing media circus would have gone nuclear, mocking him nonstop, dissecting every pause, and shouting about his unfitness for office. But when it's Biden, crickets, or worse, sympathy. This is the double standard that infuriates Jon Stewart. It's the kind of selective journalism that insults our intelligence and fuels distrust in the media. Stewart's frustration is justified, and frankly, more people should be calling it out.
He'd been home for almost 2 weeks. He was jet lagged? How big is that f***ing jet?
Remember when President Trump brought a 13-year-old cancer survivor on stage during a speech at Capitol Hill? What should have been celebrated as a touching, heartfelt moment was instantly twisted by the leftist media. Instead of acknowledging the humanity of the gesture, they accused Trump of orchestrating a publicity stunt to fake compassion. Nicole Wallace from MSNBC even called him empty, ego-driven, and desperate for attention. No grace, no gratitude, just non-stop cynicism and partisan spin. The media couldn't allow a single positive moment without trying to tear it down. And that's exactly the kind of toxic narrative control that people like Jon Stewart are finally beginning to call out. Listen to how far they'll go to distort the truth.
The beauty of that child is the tragedy of the Trump presidency. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide.
Yes, Nicole Wallace actually made that appalling remark simply because President Trump chose to honor a 13-year-old cancer survivor. Her tone was so bitter, it felt as if she resented the child's moment entirely, just because it came from Trump. She sounded almost dismissive of the boy's survival, as if his courage and resilience were less important than her contempt for the president. It was a disturbingly cold-hearted reaction to what should have been a unifying, feel-good moment for the entire nation. When partisan hatred clouds someone's ability to recognize basic human decency, it's clear the media narrative has completely derailed. Now imagine if a Democrat had done the exact same thing. MSNBC and CNN would have hailed it as powerful, emotional, even presidential. The double standard is not just obvious, it's exhausting and deeply insulting to the intelligence of viewers. Just like the media frenzy over that fake image of Biden tied behind a truck I showed you last week, the outrage was over the top, like the world was ending, and yet silence or sarcasm when it's Trump. Jon Stewart's takedown of this hypocrisy was sharp, honest, and brutal. And honestly, it's long overdue. People are waking up and the media's games are finally being exposed.
I don't know that you have the mental acuity to be operating a motor vehicle. But if you do think that, I should also probably explain to you that trucks also don't actually have testicles.
Honestly, I'd be shocked if anyone truly believed that image showed Biden tied behind a truck. But this is America, where we can't even agree on the definition of a woman, and some people genuinely think lizard people run the government, so really nothing surprises me anymore. The line between reality and satire has completely blurred, and at this point, we're all just strapped in for the ride. Some folks will believe anything, as long as it confirms their bias. Critical thinking? Replaced by clicks, likes, and never-ending outrage. And the media? They're profiting from every second of the chaos. That's why Jon Stewart's latest observation hit so hard. It wasn't just funny, it was terrifyingly accurate.
There was no real primary. Biden ran against Dean Phillips. That's not even a real person. That's a stock photo on the package for a garden hose.
This is exactly why support for the Democratic Party is collapsing at an alarming rate. They may call themselves Democrats, but there's very little actual democracy happening within their own ranks. Just take a look at what happened to Dean Phillips, Joe Biden's primary challenger. The man never had a chance. He had no real influence, no backing, and was practically ignored by the party itself. Most Americans probably don't even know if he's still politically active or if he vanished into obscurity. And let's not forget how Kamala Harris was forced onto the ticket, a candidate who dropped out of the primaries before even making it to Iowa. That top-down, tone-deaf decision-making, totally disconnected from public enthusiasm, created massive backlash. The party preaches inclusion, yet it practices control. Instead of empowering grassroots voices, it silences dissent and elevates pre-approved figureheads. Voters are tired of being told who to support by party elites hiding behind polished speeches and choreographed photo ops. The energy, the passion, the choice, it's all been sucked out of the process. People crave authenticity, not puppets. Until the Democrats wake up and return power to the people, expect more walkaways, louder disillusionment, and a growing vacuum of trust.
I think we make a mistake focusing this all on Donald Trump as though he's, I don't know, Magneto and some incredible supervillain that has changed the very nature and temperature of the United States. Like, he's just been an effective vessel. But again, like, he's not singing new songs. I think it's a mistake to focus it all on this one individual.
This is exactly what I've been saying for weeks. The left's exhausted, overused tactic of demonizing Trump isn't just ineffective anymore, it's massively backfiring. Especially now, in a new media landscape where the establishment's monopoly on narrative control is falling apart. The days when MSNBC, CNN, or even Fox News could shape public opinion without resistance are coming to an end. People aren't passively consuming legacy media anymore. They're questioning it. And thankfully, new media platforms, from independent voices to podcasts and YouTube channels, are rising to meet the demand. These outlets offer raw, unfiltered, fact-based reporting that doesn't bend to the anti-Trump agenda. They empower viewers to think critically and form their own opinions without media manipulation. It's a digital revolution, and it's putting truth back in the hands of the people. The noise is being cut through. The propaganda is being exposed. And the political establishment, they can't stand it. Because for the first time in decades, the people have a voice that's louder than theirs, and they're using it.
And not to focus it more on, the idea that power is its own reward, whether it be in the financial industry or in government. Like, power doesn't seed itself.
CNN has relied on Donald Trump as a ratings magnet for so long that they've practically abandoned their supposed favorite, Kamala Harris. It's almost laughable how the network claims to support her while giving her barely any real coverage. This is the dangerous result of blind political hatred. It clouds judgment and warps priorities. In their relentless quest to attack and discredit Trump at every opportunity, CNN and similar outlets have ironically made him more powerful. Every breathless headline, every dramatic panel discussion, and every emotional outburst only boosts Trump's visibility and rallies his base. The irony is glaring. While Kamala Harris is sidelined in media coverage, Trump remains at the center of the national conversation. This silence around Harris reveals something deeper, a lack of genuine confidence in her ability to inspire or lead. The media thinks it's undermining Trump, but in reality, they're reinforcing his presence, brick by brick. That's the great paradox of modern media. They're addicted to Trump, even if it costs them their credibility and alienates their own political allies. In the end, this obsession with destroying Trump is backfiring. Outlets like CNN and MSNBC have sacrificed truth, empathy, and integrity in their one-track mission to bring him down. Meanwhile, alternative platforms are rising, giving Americans access to unfiltered information and allowing them to form their own opinions. Independent voices like Bill Maher and Caroline Leavitt are boldly calling out the hypocrisy, and Americans are finally taking notice. The old media regime is cracking, and the public is waking up. The narrative is shifting fast, and this time, the truth is breaking through the noise. That wraps up today's video. If you appreciated our fiery commentary and unapologetic breakdown of woke politics, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Don't forget to share this with your friends because together we're dismantling woke culture one brick at a time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.